ahead and call the April 17th work session, Christopher Town Council to order. We have two items on the agenda. The first is a discussion of request for proposal or RFP for commercial broker services for sale of out parcels located at the intersection of Pepper Ferry Road Northwest and Booker T. Washington Parkway and potential future uses. Now, for some reason, I thought in one of the last work sessions of meetings that we had decided we are not going to list at this time these properties. Am I incorrect?
I thought what we said was we were going to throw it into a work session and we were going to talk about parking lots and then about the potential use of parking lot, using some of the land for parking lots to determine if we were going to, so I personally would rather us reverse these two items and talk about our potential use of the land, and then if we're not going to use it, then go into commercial stuff.
Well, first of all, I need to find out, was that contract signed?
We don't have a signed agreement.
So you don't have,
But
Which property we talking about?
they want to have a very, so no signed contract.
But let's not get into the details of that or who we're selling it to, sales price, things
Well,
like that.
I'm not
We
going to
don't want
mention anything else, you just answered my question. So that was the other day, we got into something because we saw, we had the conception that you were going to get into a signed contract. Now that we know that we're not.
Well, I wouldn't say that we know that we're not. They are reviewing it right now.
How long is it going to take for them to do that?
I can't necessarily tell you that.
Do you have a time set under the agreement?
No, I don't.
So, my biggest concern is, we have been waiting on this. And, you know, from past budget sessions that we had, even with previous town council members, and Valerie even mentioned to us and everything, that, you know, this lot had to be sold to be able to make sure that our budget works, you know, with what we were supposed to do. From my understanding from those last conversations back from 2018 and everything else right there before we were getting into the park, it was going to cost over I think it was going to be over $4.5 million, and that was before inflation, that we needed to have that for the commercial property to be operated. And so we're not having that revenue right now. What are our plans as far as, like, we cannot just wait for someone to sign a contract when we know we need the money. And I just feel like we're not wasting our time, but I just feel like if we put this piece of land, I'm just talking about the one that is not under contract right now.
One that is or is not? The one that we're waiting on a contract for?
Exactly.
Okay.
You're talking about the other piece?
No, I'm talking about the one that we're waiting on the contract,
Sure.
the one that we have been discussing.
The three out parcels.
I just feel like we keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and nothing is moving with it.
You're talking about the 5
And I
acres?
don't feel like they're not getting
Yeah.
a good deal. I think this is a very good deal for them.
Right.
For anybody. If you see the park is moving into the right direction, it has a lot of traffic. And so I think the town has to spend millions of dollars on this to make sure that we bring, you know, a lot of quality of life for the citizens, and they expect that from that. But how are we going to provide this revenue to the citizens right now, you know, without having to increase taxes? So what you guys is not even talking about the other one, the other lot, what you guys' decisions and what are your opinions about not doing anything with this right now, just waiting for a contract? Make revenue.
Well, I don't think we can wait indefinitely. I think it should be a time span. And Randy, if you want to contact, I guess you contact the brokers and just find out where they are. We're not going to wait forever. And, you know, if within, I don't know, what time span you want to put on it, 30 days?
They actually reached out to myself and Reed either this morning or yesterday, and just basically said that they would be with us fairly soon on it. You know, what that means,
Well, I think that, I know what their expectations are, fairly soon could be January one.
it could be a couple of months anyhow.
But, I mean, I think we need to know, and I think that, you know, if they're gonna continue to drag on, then, you know, we put them both up for sale. On that side of but at least the one that we've been negotiating on, and just, maybe that spurs interest.
So what kind of time, what are we gonna give them? From this point now, we either get an answer or it goes on the
I would
market.
say maximum, because you're
That's what I was
hitting the
thinking,
spring months.
4 weeks, so 4 weeks.
Mhm.
So the
And
council says 4 weeks, give us an answer, or we're putting it back on the market.
And then and then this will give us time to plan, to see if they're not serious, to be
Yeah.
able to advertise in a different way. Because I do think the spring and the summer, and now that there is events there, the soccer fields are open and the splash pad will be open and there's a lot going on there. I do think that anybody would love just to come to something like that.
Even if they signed a contract tomorrow, you're probably looking at 2 years before the facility ever gets
No.
built, 18 months, I don't think so.
Till they build, probably so.
No.
Because they
Site-
still have
site
11
plan-
months to do this, to
Site
do
plan,
all the analytics.
plan
drilling.
review.
Yeah, but without getting our money, when should we get our money? We should get our money within the first year.
Well, then you start to talk about terms of the contract, and I don't think,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
I
think
know,
you
and I
want to do
remember
that.
that, but I do think that the 1 month should be it,
Absolutely.
and
I
that's
don't
just for
disagree.
me.
I don't disagree.
How do you guys feel about, and we're not voting obviously on this, right?
Yeah, this is kind of
Okay.
Discussion.
So, Randy, if you can reach out and get some kind of clarification,
With the date,
and then if it, you know, we can, oh God, my favorite time, we can always have a closed session next week to talk about it, but, I mean,
Talk about what?
assuming he gets an answer back, you know, at that
And it's
point,
not favorable to our 4-week guideline.
then we need to make that decision.
Yeah, we go into closed session and issue the decree to put it back on the market.
To be clear, that clock doesn't start today, that's after we hear back first,
Well,
and then,
you'll call them
No,
tomorrow,
I
so I'm
wouldn't say
under that
today.
assumption. Well, let's call
Well,
him, let him call them tomorrow and say,
Yeah.
you know, then start the clock running 30 days.
Do you know how long it has been since they initially initiated conversation?
initial conversations with me, like looking at the property, that was probably,
September 6th.
it was probably not long after that, probably within the month after opening. It was open when we looked at it,
So November,
That's true.
yes.
I don't know, I mean, they probably, with their structure, they probably have a certain level of corporate lawyers that they're gonna pass it by all of them. So, and I don't know, they've had that proposal back from us for, I don't know,
Couple weeks.
Yes, at least a few weeks.
Yeah.
so that's reasonable. Based on what we hear.
Thank you guys.
Okay, so,
Make sure, so you'll call tomorrow.
Yes.
Which leads us into so I'm the one that asked for the second thing to be put on the agenda, and, in talking with, Brad, and he was gonna try to be here tonight, but he had issues with his dad, they released him today to home health care, and he went to pick him up, so, a concern is that with the amount of, participants, so the park's been a bigger success than I think most of us imagined it would be as far as people using the park. And then when you have a sporting event occupying the fields, I feel we're gonna have the same, comment that we get about the aquatic center that
we used to get. We're better now.
We're better now, but, you know, but it's about use. So if, when you look at all of the activities for our citizens that aren't playing on the soccer field, if all of a sudden we've got a soccer game or lacrosse tournament or something going on and all the parking is occupied by the people for the tournament, then now our town folk can't go and adequately find parking to use the equipment in the playground and the walking trail and all this stuff. So, and then on top of that, if it's gonna be used as a potential money-making operation, people that rent those facilities aren't going to, you know, if there's not adequate parking, we're not gonna get the events. So I would like us to consider using one of the out parcels that we have as a permanent parking structure.
I think, and I agree, and that's one of the mistakes. And it's very difficult when you build, I'll use the aquatic center as an example. You know, it's very difficult to spend millions of dollars on a parking lot that's only gonna be used X number of weekends out of the year, and it's gonna sit basically empty, you know, 4 days, 5 days a week. So, and I think the way we have used that parking, the area that we bought, it has been good, and it's working well. I don't think there are major parking problems in these meets, but I guess what I'm getting at, Randy, can you pull that picture of the lots up there that you had showed?
Sure.
There. The one on our left as we're looking is what we have been using, I believe now, as auxiliary parking. However, when they had a soccer tournament, we had all that rain, and so they were almost unusable.
Yeah, it was a mud field,
So-
and they couldn't park in it.
So, and we had them lined up and down the streets and everywhere else you could get them. So, I really feel that at this point in time, that is the lot. Because it's what, close to 3 acres, 4 acres,
It's about 2.5.
2.5 acres? Well, still, I mean, properly set up, we can park some people in that thing. And I think that's, even if it's for a temporary basis, and Randy or Mike or one of you all discuss something that you can do with that lot.
Well, we have budgeted for basically gravel and temporary lighting for it, and also fabric to put under the stone. That way we can preserve the stone if we want to haul it out of there, because the idea would be that it be temporary. And that would be for, of course, this lot. You know, I've always kind of told you that I would like to reserve that lot for town use, and I think council agreed. Of course, these are the lots that I've been actively marketing. You could maybe, just for everybody's benefit, bring up the overall, I guess maybe the deferred plan and the
The ones
completion
that
first.
after the.
Maybe bring up deferred first, if you, well, the deferred is what is delivered by Faulkner, which basically includes the
Yeah,
multipurpose fields.
let me go, I got you, Randy.
Basically, that's what Faulkner delivered. The multipurpose fields, the playground pavilion, splash pad, community building, and of course the road up to this point, and this is where the barricades are. What was in the deferred plan is extra parking down here, an amphitheater, basically right here. You maybe go ahead and open up the other one. So, right now, like I say, it's basically barricaded right here. Although we did cost estimates of what it would take to build basically a driving aisle only and this parking. And that was
I included
that.
Yes.
So basically, like I say, driving aisle width only, not road standard width. To here, and then to construct this. And that was what, 2.6?
2.8.
2.8 million. To build that to road standards adds another $1.5 million.
Road standard was 5.5 or 5.6
Yeah.
million.
Is there any chance that if we start that road, the connector road,
It,
smart
it,
scale
it helps
funding
bring,
could,
it helps the likelihood of the funding for it a little, because it'll bring the cost down a little.
even if we just make it a driving lane?
Even if you just did that, it brings the construction cost down on it a little bit, because I think we would still probably be building it with base stone, like it's gonna be a future road, at least that's what would make sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But you would need to widen it when you build it to, because what width is, 20,
It's, 30-foot, pavement width with curb and
well,
gutter.
I know that's
That's
street,
24-foot,
24 foot rather than 30, so.
but keep in
And,
mind.
oh, yeah, that does include curb and gutter and.
Yeah.
But keep in mind too, the ultimate, Booker T. Washington Parkway is in a fill area. So right now, we just kept the existing contours where they were, so it's gonna dip down by the
Yeah.
pond and then go back up the incline. But, the ultimate Booker T has got many, many feet of fill that will be in there as part of that.
And we would sort of lose that section of work
We,
with-
yes.
if we did it on our own.
It's kind of neat because it can be used to slow down the traffic.
For a driving aisle, it's fine. You know, like I say, I think for street design purposes, I don't think
No,
it would suit, but.
For the,
Well, they can pay us for that.
yeah, to meet the parking, the 24-foot, drive aisle is more than sufficient for that.
So my question is, that, Wendy, when you were explaining that, is that what you see right now when you go to the park? Is that concrete? You have the concrete?
There's a little gravel pad area over here that, we would plan to set the stage.
Oh,
That's where the amphitheater would be. That's, if that, just as a reference point, if that's what you're talking
No, what I
about.
was saying about the entrance to that
Yeah.
road, that road is the
So
one
Booker
that's
T.
blocked
Washington,
right now,
That's
right?
right,
Yeah,
so
there's
it
a
ends
Barricade,
right
there's a
here.
barricade right there.
Well, I think one of the biggest concerns, which that one brings another cost, is this whole installation, which we don't
Yeah.
have money for it too. But then it also costs us money not to be able to sell the other piece of property, and believe me, I want the parking. I do think that the bottom part has been great when it hasn't rained. I haven't gone over there when it's raining over there, and you guys are saying that these issues have come up. But I do think that, if there is a way, because you still have to pave or do something with the other light if you were going to use it. But I think to maximize the usage that we have for what we had in plan, what will it cost to just gravel? Well, I guess it would be the same cost. What will the cost be? Do you say a cost for the bottom part, not for?
Down here,
No, for
And,
the.
We're talking about the lot on our
gravel.
left as we was looking at the map.
Mhm.
The one where
Yeah,
you-
that's
actually,
the big
yes,
one.
yes, you're talking,
I don't know.
Yeah,
where
that
it is.
one,
Randy?
that one,
Yeah,
that one,
that-
yeah,
okay, the one that is beside the dog park,
Right.
yeah,
right here.
that one.
that one is about $1 million.
No, that one, I sent a new estimate,
Okay,
Andrew, if you could look at that, by
Sure.
dog park, scroll down if you would, please.
so this would be for paved, yeah.
This is
Paved
Okay, so
and
let's
lighting,
just- Yeah,
and it's an estimate.
Is that the place that you guys had designed for the party station when we ever built it?
Well, we've mentioned it as a possible fire station location.
Yeah, it's just shy of 1.3.
1.3, and then what will it cost? It will probably be almost around the same amount if you were to do something similar to the other lot that is for sale right now, not the one that.
But I don't see why you'd want to push them over there, particularly when we're trying to market it.
I was just trying to find out, just for trying to find out information.
so that's the estimate for the lot near the dog park, and then we did have an estimate for
I
the
believe-
area to the rear, correct?
Yes, and that's the other
And the rear is
Two.
2 point something.
2.8
So,
as a driving aisle, but building it as a street, it's more like 5.5.
yeah, I think driving aisle is if I were good, if we were voting, I'd say driving aisle for now. And then, what would be an estimate on time to build that section? Just a rough guess.
You'd have to go out to design, get everything in place,
I know,
that's.
12, 14 months, 15, 16 months.
I'd say 15 to 18 months.
That's to build
to design and potentially
The
build
amphitheater area and the parking lot back there.
just the parking lot and the drive aisle.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if we were going to do the one on the left as we look at, the 2.5 acre lot, you figure that's about 1.2, 1.3 million. And that certainly shouldn't take 18 months to
That's
build.
temporary stuff.
Do you want me to?
No,
Gravel.
that would have a
If you'd
factor.
like,
Now, what you
it's,
guys-
it's cheap and it's, like I say, gravel and
I have a
light trees is what that is.
Yeah.
If we consider future use though, so I like the lot in the back because I think it's close, it's convenient to the fields and the playground stuff. And also I'm thinking about the future uses, if we don't put parking there, will that just be green space and then we're using up our other lots that might have other value? Right, I mean, what else would you do with that lot if you didn't pave it? Do you have other,
When you say the other lot, do you, which,
the one in the back, closer to
Um,
the,
I feel some type of recreational use at some point.
Yeah, you can use it for
It's,
bike
it,
riding.
you can get it level enough that it could be parking, so it could probably be level enough that it could be additional pickleball or beach volleyball or gazebo or something if you wanted to in the future, maybe a basketball court or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think, I will tell you, I talked to Brad about his preference of between parking between here and here, and his preference is here, simply because it's closer to the field.
Right, yeah, and you're kind of separating out the traffic from the playground and the dog park with folks that are coming back here to drop their kids off to play or to watch
Do you
the.
think that will get you?
Which there's,
The one over here by the soccer
The
field.
lower one by the soccer field.
by the soccer field, there's 172 proposed right there where the cursor is, and the smaller one, to the left right
Right
there is, I think, 43 or 45.
It's
So,
200.
a little over 200 potentially.
Now, how many can you get it, how many are projected in that 2.5 acre field?
We didn't do a layout of it, but it could probably hold another 200, maybe 220.
Is the
And
one
in
on the
by-
left? I'm
by the dog park
oh,
park.
yeah, the dog park
Yeah,
area,
the
that's
dog
about
park.
200 something, about half the
200,
price
yeah.
at this point.
Yes.
And that's temporary, because if we decide down the road that we're gonna fund amphitheaters and all the other, or the parking area, you know, then you can pull, you'll be able to pull the stone out and use that field.
Yeah.
No, just for clarification, the stone is considerably more affordable. We had a cost estimate of that Public Works was able to provide, let's see,
Well, that's cheap compared to paving, and this is a temporary,
Yeah.
very temporary fix.
So, I mean, as long as it's, you know, gonna, at least the water's gonna be able to run through, we're not gonna have knee-deep mud in the thing. And I tell you, where we run into an issue is, and I noticed this,
yeah. And we would need lighting as well.
There's a lighting estimate in there too.
No, I do like, using, the stone for several reasons. Obviously, it's reusable, it's environmentally able to be moved. And if we were to, you know, do something else different, like the main road being the connector road, or we decide to put gravel down where the fire station may become one day later on in life, I think you definitely have.
So I agree, I think it's a very affordable, for now, way for us to do it, is to do the dog parking lot with the
I
gravel.
really, at this point,
At this point, and then it does give us the option that as we progress, if we decide to put a fire station or something there.
one other thing that Randy and I've talked about, and I don't want to talk to Brad anymore today about the bus, but see, the rec department has one of the old Christopher Transit buses. And that can very easily be used to shuttle from the dog parking lot up to the fields and things like that. And that bus will hold about 20, somewhere in that area. So I think he said it had to have some repairs done, but my suggestion is, tell Brad, let's go ahead and do it. Get the bus ready, and even other times, because the one thing I've heard from people, a lot of senior people say, you know, I had to park down that auxiliary lot, and, you know, my dad's 80 years old, and it's a tough hike up the hill for him, and this type of stuff. So if we could allow some kind of transportation to run that shuttle, and that thing fills up, geared to sound like football too. I heard some people asking about, you know, all the lots filled up, and of course, you got four other things going on with the splash pad and the dog parks and everything else, so.
Can I mention something? I agree with what you're saying. I also believe that there is also a way for events and things like that. I don't know, how many golf carts does the town actually own for recreational service?
There's two there, that property, and we're getting one additional in the budget.
But
One additional budget.
at best, you can carry two people in a golf cart.
Four to five.
But I can tell you for big events, and I was participating with the Greenbrier and everything, almost everybody was moved to golf carts. And I know it was for golf tournaments, but we also used them for the events, for the concerts, on the fields and everything else. So golf carts is also a way to move people that are
Yeah.
unable to get in a bus as easier as it would be in a golf cart. And that's from the standpoint of being handicapped or an older person just trying to get to a bus that is handicap accessible, or, you know, those can also have, I know for someone that is in a younger age or different things, the bus is a great option, but I do think that golf carts too.
Well, I think there's nothing wrong with having the golf carts and the bus, because I don't believe there is a major expense on repairing that bus.
I don't think it's anything huge.
I mean, and it's something we could probably do internally, our mechanics, I guess, couldn't, maybe. I mean, if you spend, let's say you spend $5,000 to get the bus shipshape, okay? Well, that's probably cheaper than some of those golf carts you're gonna get, but still, I'm all for getting the extra golf cart and getting that bus in service.
Yeah,
You just transport, and you just run shuttles. It's real easy. That's what they did at the high school with the aquatic center. Western Transit ran shuttles, and they, about every 15 or 20 minutes, they were making the loop.
is this really something he needs us to tell him to do? I mean, the civic leaders to tell him to
Fix the bus.
fix the
I've
bus,
already
or,
told them to look into
that's
getting the bus.
what I'm saying,
fixed.
that's like
Yeah, I mean, that's,
management level stuff, that if he needs it to run his operation, he's got the funds, then fix it,
and when you have these big events like the soccer tournaments and things like that, normally, from what I understand, people that rent facility, they're sponsoring the tournament, they would pay for we'll charge them for the shuttle.
Absolutely, it's all,
I mean,
it's written into
It's all
the cost
into
of
the contract.
the renting the facility, so.
But I think that's the quickest solution at this point. Now, the cost to bring the dog park lot is $82,000 for the stone plus lighting.
About 21,000 for lighting.
Now, is that, where were we coming up with the $1.3 million? Was that on
Paving.
another piece of property?
That's paving,
And I don't see we
that's paving and permanent lighting and.
Yeah, I don't see the need to do that right now.
No.
And we don't have the money and the budget
We
for
did,
that.
well, we have money, but it's not budgeted.
So talking and going back and forth with this conversation today, and the previous commitments, honoring those commitments from past town council members and what we have been as the town council members dealing with the budget and things like that, don't you guys think it is in the best interest for us right now to actually advertise the other lots and make sure, I know the one that's possibly under contract future very soon. We won't touch that one for another month.
Yeah, are we not actively pursuing someone for the other lot?
There's still, when you say the other lot, you mean the remainder of the the remainder of the
Yeah.
5 acres? Yes, there's still a sign on the property, and I have talked to people. It's probably been 6-7 weeks since I've talked to anybody about it, so I'd say anything other than the.
I would say that very, worldwide commercialization of this is a lot better advertisement than just having a sign. And it's not that you see what you were asked to do.
Yeah.
And I think we tried that, but I do think that if we want good money for this, which I think we will get, we really need to reach out there.
Well, and I know that, talked at one point, is to market that lot, or those lots, and/or those lots, does that have to go through the procurement office?
Be sure.
Yes, it would.
So, you know, and then we talked, and I know there's the MLS listing, but that's more residential. But there's another one that the LoopNet, that we could advertise that thing on, probably no, other than the cost of a
I
membership.
don't think there is more than $500 close.
How many-
Now, you may want to check with Reed as far as that stuff. But I will say, there is, and I don't even know that you have to do a procurement thing, especially because you will not be paying the commission, and Stella is not paying the commission. So I have.
Yeah, this on link, or is this with a broker?
With a commercial, company online. Typically, you can set it up the way that we can have it advertised, but they will be required to pay their own. We wouldn't be paying out that closing.
I think the decision,
I would just say, us read before next town council meeting,
Sure.
and have this for the next town council meeting agenda, so we have more facts on the table.
Right, because our understanding
Differently.
before was that it did need to go through an RFP
Well,
process, but,
Just
Yeah, but we
double
can
checking
do
on
it
all
for-
those things, I
yeah.
want you to, if I have the
Yeah.
permission of you guys, check on one of those, it would be, what will the cost be? I think it was around $500 to advertise it with LoopNet and a commercial, brand thing to do it through the nation. And that was actually worldwide. And then, or do we have to do a procurement thing, and what does that look like? With a commercial
I
is.
think from a cost standpoint, and I think it's all based on potential cost and sales, I think the LoopNet, thank you, I won't say LinkNet. LoopNet is a service that we can buy and pay for, and if it's under a certain number of dollars, we don't have to procure, but when you go out into selling a piece of real estate and you're
Yeah.
brokering it to a company, then we have to go through the procurement,
Right.
which could take 2 months, 3 months, at least.
But that still will heat the summertime, which is still an okay time, you know, I think commercial, companies are still gonna be looking for properties all through the year, they don't stop.
Well, and as we have events pick up, it makes the property more marketable,
Exactly.
and people are gonna want.
Some things just happen.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure that they do have, the next event over there is going to be a lacrosse tournament, and I have not seen the weekend
It's
yet.
coming up.
It's pretty soon, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it written down somewhere.
And the first one I had was like a little youth club, but I think this one's gonna be more of a,
Yeah, we're expecting to double what we had for the soccer tournament.
it's 2,000 lacrosse players and
Yeah.
15,000 people in the park.
Randy, I know, well, I guess this is, I'm not, can I mention something about that lot on the back? If he's, the one that's gonna cost $2.5 million?
The one by the soccer field.
Yeah. If we were to do something,
Deferred.
we have the
Or the-
bulldozers and things like that. Have you guys ever been to the, bike park in Pulaski County? It's the third one where it's just hills and everything else.
They have a dirt bike, and well, it's a
kind of a mountain bike.
mountain
Yeah,
bike, the
yeah.
mountain bike course they
Goes
put in.
terrain, yeah.
It's really
I've seen videos
cool.
of it.
And I was amazed about the amount of people that go to
Oh, yeah.
the park. You passed the other day. It was actually, I saw it by driving by, I was like, oh, wow, this is neat. So it's pretty easy, and it goes back to when I was growing up, I did this in just the fields, and it was awesome. I wondered there is sometimes you can do things without costing a lot of money, but will it be really difficult to look into something like maybe doing a dirt bike kind of thing until we have eventually one? I know that we have a beautiful park and everything, but sometimes things don't have to be absolutely beautiful for people to really have a different experience.
I think as long as it is a non-propelled.
Mountain bike, not dirt bike.
Right. Yeah.
The third one, I mean.
But I mean, but the dirt bike.
Yeah,
Not motorized.
That's what we're talking about. It's
I
gotta
mean,
be a
that's
pedal
one thing
bike.
because otherwise you're gonna have them all over the park, right?
Yeah, no.
No,
So
no,
they're,
no,
they're,
no,
they're,
I'm
they're
just
pedal,
talking about-
it's a mountain
I know
bike
people.
course over in Pulaski that they built specifically to attract a certain audience, and it's all pedal.
Bicycles.
It's
Yeah.
bicycles that
But
they
it's
use.
fun, you say, I mean, it
Yeah.
was so fun just to see the kids and everything.
Okay.
And that wouldn't, I don't imagine being a big cost with that.
No,
But I
but-
was just saying to bring a different attraction to the town that it probably will not cost a lot of money.
The limit is where you would put it.
Oh,
And for
what I
how
was
long you'll be able to
mentioning is,
use it, because.
No, I get it, but I don't think there's enough
Amphitheaters
space.
and, yeah.
oh, we are talking about, what was the acreage right now? It was a lot, because we were building 172 parking
You're
spaces.
talking right around in
and-
here.
Well, yeah, all of
Just
that.
based on that, it's probably 2.5 acres roughly,
Yeah, that's-
you know.
That's big.
Is there any consideration of, putting rock in that lot? The one by the soccer field?
For gravel.
I'm just
You
curious.
mean all the way down to here instead? We could get you an estimate on that. It's gonna be more than this, obviously, but
Because it's lot.
I don't think it would be a tremendous amount of money, because, to be honest, we're getting by cheap here for around $100,000. So even if,
You get into stormwater though, right?
Ah.
Stormwater quality.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a very much a different lift putting gravel there than it is by the dog park.
There's a lot
but
of-
that's one thing, we already addressed the stormwater on those out parcels.
Yeah.
So we're pretty good on the recap. We're gonna talk to the company or the brokers, and some would like to have something concrete in a month.
Yep, say May 15th.
And then, we are going to, at this point, proceed with the auxiliary parking lot, gravel, and getting it ready to go.
Correct.
That's the two things that we,
And that is budgeted, right now in the
Okay.
current budget.
very good. So there's not anything else that needs to come, that's on the agenda. However, I will mention that our next work session is April the 30th, and it is a budget work session.
What day is that?
That's on Wednesday. And I think it's the week after our last council meeting of the month.
Because there's 5 Tuesdays in the month.
I believe it's on Wednesday the 30th.
It's the 30th.
It would
Yeah.
be that
Thirtieth,
Tuesday,
it would be a Tuesday.
that fifth Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's an off Tuesday.
Right,
That's the
right.
fifth Tuesday, that's right.
And that one is for a work session?
It's work session on the budget. So I would,
Is Valerie gonna be there?
Mhm.
Yes.
she's out of town now.
No,
I
I
think
know,
in the
but
meeting,
the 30th.
in the
Yeah.
meeting, she said, I will not be here for the 17th, but I'll be back in time for the 30th. So she's confirmed she'll be back. So I would,
Instead,
Yes.
and I would like to, I'd like to ask all of you to, you have almost 2 weeks notice. I would like for all of you to go back through your budgets. You have a copy of the budget. And any questions that you have budget-wise, I'd like for you to present them to Val by Friday, the Friday before our work session, which would be the
26th.
26th. I'd like for you to have them then. And I'm going to instruct Val, anything comes in after that, we're not going to include in our discussion. So it's up to us, if we have questions, get them to Val in plenty of time that she can answer.
What was the date for that?
The
26th,
the 26th, okay, have it been Friday morning, the 26th.
Friday
That would-
morning, just Friday.
Friday, yeah,
Okay.
by end of workday. And, that would give her some time to work on some of those questions. And I think that's the ideal way to do that type of thing.
Agreed.
So, I appreciate everybody coming out, taking a little bit of time, and, you know, we got through this thing pretty quick, much better than I thought, so. With that, we're adjourned.